Hi there everybody, welcome back to another mould review, and I will run through it as I normally do. To start off with, this is from Diorama Debris. It's a silicon rubber mould. It's a 1/24th scale 4 set cobblestones. Now the mould number is 1240074. It is manufactured in the UK by R.J. Norris. Now this is going to be very much like the bricks, not a great deal to see, but we will turn it over, we'll get it out of the packet, turn it over, and we'll have a little look. I have noticed one thing: these are slightly deeper than the rest of them, quite thick to be honest with you. Now you get 106 blocks per cast, plus you get 4 halves. Now I really do wish they would do probably 2 rows on each mould of the halves, because the halves are used quite a lot, especially if you're doing a road. Also the halves are very useful for going around corners and bits and pieces like that. So if you are watching this Diorama Debris, it would be a good idea probably to put a couple of rows of halves in either end. It don't really matter. So you can't see much. There's plenty of detail, I know there is, on these blocks right down inside, but we're not going to actually see it until we cast them out. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go off, we'll get some casted, and we'll take a little look. Now I've cast some out. Nothing unusual in the casting. We used 12 mils of water, 24 grams of casting powder. I used just a touch of black, just to make it grey, and they came out really nice, and they are nice little blocks. Got no qualms about it at all. It was only after I did a couple, I threw them into a tub, and I noticed that we've got 2 different sizes, well 3 different sizes actually. Now I know you get the normal half, you get 2 halves either end, which is self-explanatory. I don't mind them going into the box. But if you look at these 2, we get a large one, and this one is just slightly smaller. Now it doesn't say anything on the packet, but I did go on their website and they do say that you've got 2 different size blocks, which is a little bit frustrating. All in all, the blocks are great, but we'll have a quick look at the mould, because if you're building in 1/24 scale, I'm not really going to recommend that you actually get this mould, because I've done a little bit of looking around, and the 1/35 scale one will do this job exactly the same. So I'll have a quick look at the mould. Now we're back to the mould, and I don't like having negative thoughts or saying negative things about particular products, but this one, there's a lot of negatives for it. Now if you look carefully, these 2 rows this end are the smaller block, they run down this way. Then the center is the larger block, and then these 3 end ones are the smaller block. Now don't understand the reason why Diorama Debris have done that, because it makes this a very frustrating mould, well especially for me as well, because I want all my blocks to be the same size, and if you tip this lot in, you're going to have them smaller ones, which is going to be frustrating when you're laying them. Your joints and everything are all going to be running out because you've got the smaller block. Next thing you probably have to do is separate these 3 and these 2 into a separate pot, and then separate these ones. You're going to have to do that when you're turning them out after you've cast them, because if you put them all in one big pile, it'll take you forever to sort them out that way. So that's going to be very frustrating for me. Also another thing is that these end ones, the smaller ones, they're no different size to the 1/35 6x10. As you can see, it just slots in there very nicely, which gets me thinking these are a little bit small for the actual for 1/24. So I'm saying, if you want to do the 1/24th, you could get away by using the 1/35th 6x10s. They would work just as well. Or you're going to have to source something else. But I just feel they're a tiny bit smaller. Well, too small actually for the 1/24th. Now I'll put the camera down and I've come up with a couple of ideas that we could probably use. Okay, we've got a bit of a police lineup. Now, this far end here, this is the 1/35th scale 6x10, and as you can see next to it is the 1/24th block, and the difference between it is very slight. The 1/24th is slightly higher, but area wise they're both the same in the actual size. The one next to it is the larger block. I mean, that is only just slightly larger. My personal feelings on this is that the block really isn't big enough for 1/24 scale. It just seems quite a tiny block, especially to go against these curbs and the manhole covers and drains, which I will be doing a review on them very shortly. But the block at the end, now this comes from the Diorama Debris do a stone block wall mould, where you get different size blocks to build stone walls. I will put the mould number up underneath, and to me that looks and feels about the right size. I've offered that one up against the manholes and the drains. It looks and it feels right to me. So the choice now is really up to you. I mean, if you want to go with the smaller block, because to be honest with you, to buy the moulds for the stone blocks, you don't get many of that particular size in a mould, and you would have to do the sorting anyway. But that bit is totally up to you. I mean, at the end of the day, you could just buy the 1/35th scale one and be done with it, and that will suffice this. Or you could buy that mould, do all the separating, all the messing about, but that choice is yours. Now I'm going to move on with this one, because I've just started to do a new sort of video. It's called strictly moulding at your bench, mould making at your bench, and it's making your own moulds using silicone rubber. And I've got a little idea on that I could probably actually make a mould by using them. It may be an interest if you're 1/24 scale and you're interested in that, you know, making your own moulds. That could be an option as well. And that's it. That's about as much as I can say about this mould. It's been quite a negative look. Well, it is negative because I don't feel it's right. It don't look right, it don't feel right. So I will stick to my opinion. The decision is up to you if you buy this mould or not. My personal opinion is don't. Is try and source something else for your blocks. Hopefully, if you're sort of interested in making your own moulds, well, like I say, I am bringing some videos out of making moulds at your bench. And that's it. That's about as much as I can say. I'm rambling on now, so I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Until then.